Hi there, and thank you for watching. My name is Margarita, and I'm the founder of the Marriage Immigration Method. Inside our method, we focus on only one thing, and that is marriage adjustment of status. We guide independent and self-sufficient couples through the entire marriage immigration process, empowering them to secure their conditional green card, removal of conditions, and naturalization independently without the need to hire a lawyer. So, if you're ready to take control of your own case, this method is for you. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any updates from us. And this is an incredible story of Natalia and Alex. Every immigration journey is so different. Definitely stick around to hear the entire story. Hi there! Would you mind introducing yourself and letting us know where you're originally from?
My name is Natalia, and I am originally from Venezuela.
And tell me about your partner. I know Alex is not here with us, but
Mm-hmm.
where is he originally from?
He's originally from Puerto Rico.
Perfect. And where are you tuning in from? Which city and state are you currently in?
I'm from Orlando right now.
Okay, so you're originally from Venezuela, currently in Orlando. Alex is from Puerto Rico. How did this come to be? Like, share just in a few words, like how long have you
Uh,
been together and what happened?
well, we met in high school a couple years ago, and we've been together since for like the last 6, 7 years. So that's how it came to be, really.
Wow, okay. And then tell us in just a few words, how long have you been in the US at this point? Just give us a little bit of your immigration background, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't mind.
So I've been in the US since 2017, so about 6, 7 years now. And I moved with my family, my brother, my dad, and my mom. And we originally had political asylum and then eventually TPS when it became available for Venezuelans.
And now you transitioned into the marriage green card situation. Okay,
Correct.
perfect. All right. So obviously you and Alex, you've been together for many years. At some point you realized that, okay, this is very serious. We're getting official.
hmm
We are going to get married eventually and go through this process. What was your initial plan? How did you think you were going to handle the green card portion of this process?
Well, I evaluated a couple different options before thinking about it seriously. I just thought, well, you had to do it through a lawyer just because it was this very complicated thing that had to be done through a lawyer. And then when I sat down, I started to review it. I saw a lot of people will do it on their own, or they will just send their package to an attorney, or they will use different resources online to help you build your own package. So that's when I saw that there was more ways to do it beyond just doing it through an attorney. So that's when I started to dig in, okay, well, what other alternatives are there beyond just doing it through an attorney? And but also I wasn't feeling very comfortable doing it completely on my own. So that's when I started to look at alternatives, so maybe a guided way to do it. And that's how I got to you guys.
Okay, let's talk about doing it on your own. You said you
Mhm.
weren't feeling comfortable doing it. Tell me,
Yeah.
why do you think you're so proficient in English? You have such background, but tell me, what were your reasonings behind it?
Mostly because I was scared of making a mistake that I didn't knew I would make would make it. So that's what happens. Like I, even though I understood English and I know, I just was scared of maybe making a mistake or being not so sure about something or an answer and not having anybody to ask. Because when you search for something on Google, you find mixed answers sometimes about what to put in certain section and what to answer because everything is so nuanced depending of your situation as an immigrant. So that was mostly my concern of doing it on my own, that I might not do it right, and the things that I'm not so sure about, I wouldn't get clear answers. So that was mostly my concern.
Okay, and let's talk about working with a lawyer. So,
hmm
first of all, have you interviewed with any lawyers to see if you would go that route?
Not particularly, just because I knew how about the process of doing it with an attorney, and that's what deviated me away from doing it. And also because in the past, I used to work for a brief period of time as an assistant to a couple attorneys, and I saw how the adjustment of status through marriage for clients was handled. And something that I liked is that I wanted to be able to have more hands-on on the process and um, choose when I was going to send the package. And I felt that maybe working with an attorney, I wouldn't be able to get to do that. It will be on the attorney's time whenever they had time to submit it. And so mostly that was the reason why deviated me from doing it with an attorney, mostly.
Do you remember how much you were quoted for doing it through that approach?
So I never really asked an attorney. I just knew, like, I have an idea for the period of times that I worked through attorneys. Sometimes, like, I will hear amounts like maybe $6,000, $7,000, or sometimes it will be on the cheaper side, but mostly it was because of that I wanted a more hands-on experience. And with attorneys, you just send them everything and they put the package for you. And I want to be able to have, I mean, a more close-up engagement with the process and with what was being submitted.
So basically, when you were working for that firm, how would that go? Normally, like, would people send basically all of their paperwork and
Yeah.
then the attorney basically compiles, or an assistant compiles everything, an attorney reviews, and then it's sent off, or how did that go?
So from what I would see, people will send their evidences, like pictures and everything, and they will send their information. I believe people won't fill out their own forms. The attorney will fill it based on the information that the client will send. Just because I wasn't particularly close to that process in the office. So that's how I was seeing it. Like, people weren't filling their own forms. They will just send the evidence, like, in many pieces of information. People will send pictures through CDs and like print it, and also through paper, and like many ways. And the attorney had to put everything together and fill out the information. So that's how I saw that it went when doing it with an attorney. And I don't know, I feel like I wanted to be able to fill the form and know and see it right before I send it. And that's the experience I wanted to have, rather than send my information off to somebody and not know how they were gonna put it together and who knows what.
How did it go from there? So let's say that they shipped off the package.
Hmm.
How do people know what happens from there? Did you feel like people were supported who were waiting for their green card, or like, tell me about that part of it?
So I feel like people a lot of times we will get in the office the receipt notices and things like that, and the attorney will send them a copy. But people, I don't know if maybe because they weren't so on hands with the immigration process and they didn't have a lot of information how to oversee your case, people will call a lot to ask how's their case going. Sometimes the attorney will make themselves not available just because they're handling other cases, other consultations, and people just want to know how their case is. And so I will see that happening a lot. People just calling every couple months asking because they had no idea what's going on. And so that's how I saw that it was being handled. So I don't know, maybe if it was lack of information that people weren't able to check the process on their own, but that's how I saw that it was. People was calling every couple months asking, "Hey, how's my case going? I don't know how to check it." So that's how I saw it, and that's what, like, I didn't like about it, is that I don't know. I feel that the immigrant should know uh, how to check it, how to be able to see how's it going without having to call. And sometimes attorneys are really not available. They're in court or they're doing whatever else to answer that question. So sometimes the attorney will refer, well, you let them know how it's going the case. So, and I feel that people feel safer talking to the attorney. So that's how it was handled when I was in the office.
So they didn't give them any instructions like, hey, it's so important to create a USCIS online account so that you can track everything that's going on. Basically, people kind of had to figure it out on their own.
Looks like that's what's happening because, yes, people a lot were calling asking how the case was going. So looks like they didn't let them, the attorney didn't let them know, or they just didn't know how to do it. Or I don't know, didn't feel comfortable with the language, maybe, to be able to set up an account and things like that.
So then, aside from you, because that's your personality, you just want
Hmm.
to be, in control of what's going on. You don't want to just hand it over and hope that things work out. But
Yeah.
was there anything else and aside from price, obviously price plays a role as well, but aside
Hmm.
from two things, anything else that kind of made you not interested in going that route? Or that's pretty much it?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, being wanting to be hands-on and looking more closely what was being filled out and how the package was being put together. That's what I wanted. And I know that through an attorney, that wasn't gonna be the case.
Gotcha. And then have you considered other options such as Boundless or Citizen Path, like the online kind of preparation services?
Yes, I evaluated Boundless at the beginning. Like, I just looked through their website. They have a lot of articles as well. And I don't know, like, I didn't really continue to investigate about the pricing because I didn't feel that it was as personal. So here's the thing, like, Boundless is very hands off. Attorneys is very, you send everything and you don't know. I wanted to find a middle point of, okay, I put it together, but I also want this like an actual real person, not a website to tell me what to do. So that's what I wanted to find in, and I feel that your guys' process is a good middle point between that, because it's not completely on my own and following a guideline online, but also not completely me sending everything and me not knowing how the package was being put together. So that's why I came to find you guys in your process.
So you wanted to have a point of contact, a human being
Exactly.
who you can connect with, who understands your
Mm-hmm.
situation and can help you if something comes up.
Exactly. And what I like it was that you guys were very reachable. Like I felt that you guys I could either send you an email or through the group, Facebook group, or to the weekly calls. Like that made me feel more comfortable. Okay, these people are reachable. Like because I know calling an attorney's office, you call is most likely you're not gonna get through to them. You're gonna get through the assistant, or they call you back in a couple of weeks or whatnot. And I feel it through Boundless. I don't know exactly how the process is with them, but I don't know if they have an actual person talk to you when you have questions. So yeah, so that was the case for me.
What were you ultimately looking to achieve? What was the end goal before we connected?
Yeah, so I just wanted to be able to put my package together, mostly do it myself, fill everything up, but sort of having a guide of, okay, in case I don't know what to do in these certain sections of the forms, which happen a lot. uh, somebody that I know that knows a lot, like you guys are attorneys and you're not some random people that just happen to share information about how to do it, can tell me this, you feel it this way. And there's also this group that you guys have that people bounce off information about their process, and also like you guys are very reachable. So that's what I like, that it was very easy for me to do it without having the being anxious about, oh, maybe this, I don't know if I'm feeling this up right. I can literally ask you to group chat or join the weekly Zoom calls, and that was gonna be solved. And it happened a couple times. I joined at least twice to ask things that I wasn't really sure about.
Yeah, and it worked out. That's awesome. Also, at the time, had you considered that you would need to handle the removal of conditions and naturalization, or were you only focused on the green card?
I was only focused on the green card at the time. I really wasn't familiar with having to remove conditions, and then much less naturalization. That's further down the line. I didn't really think about how handling that.
Uh-huh. So did you think it was a good thing that we included all of it in just this one approach?
Yes, exactly. And that was really a big selling point of, well, there's these other things that I'm gonna come down the line of removing conditions, naturalization, and also eventually requesting my parents. And I like that the package included, it was a very encompassing package that included all of the assistance in all of those processes. That's going to be pretty much all the processes I have left until I become a citizen and I don't have to worry about anything else. So I like that. Well, it includes all of this, because I know that maybe with attorneys you're paying just for adjustment of status, then remove the condition is maybe is another price, naturalization is another price, uh, requesting your parents is another price. So I like that it was encompassing and like a one-time sort of thing, to go for all these things that I'm gonna come later in a couple years for me.
That's amazing. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. So what motivated you to connect with us? What resonated with you when you were looking for a solution to your problem? Maybe it was something specific that we said in our, content, or what was it?
Mostly because I found you guys through TikTok. A lot of the content that would show up for me was green card and green card process, when as soon as Alex and I started talking about getting married. So and I started to dig more into you guys' information and in the website and how it looked like and how you guys talked about your method. So I like a lot about, okay, I'm gonna be able to do it on my own, but I see that these people are very hands-on of whether I need help with anything, or if I get a complicated situation down the line with this process, they're gonna be able to answer me how to do it or point me in the right direction. So that's what I like a lot, that I was gonna be able to be hands-on and very involved with my process, but also these people that I'm gonna be able to ask that are qualified and they're attorneys and they've also been through it.
Yeah. Wow. How did you initially trust us? I mean, you saw us on freaking TikTok of all places, and
Yeah.
you guys started working with us pretty much right away. Where did the trust come from?
Maybe from the first call we had a first initial call where you talked to us more like thoroughly through the process about pricing and everything that encompass and from the group chat to the weekly calls. And that's what draw me a lot of, oh, okay, maybe these people have these things set in place where I can reach them out very often and like pretty much at any time, and they're gonna answer in a timely manner. So I like it. That's what I like a lot, that uh, you have a system set in place where people can feel comfortable asking questions and they know that they're going to be answered within, I don't know, a day or two, or I can just join a call with you that you have set up for every week, and I can just ask however questions I have. So that's what I like the most about the process.
Wow. Okay, so you got in, we started working together, and obviously it's a lot, right? Like when you get into it, because we had
Yes.
somebody who enrolled recently and they were like, okay, so I feel like in order for me to be with my spouse, I need to take this crazy college course and put this all together.
Yeah.
So you get in.
Mhm.
Did you find the information we teach to be clear and easy to understand? Just,
Yeah.
because there's this idea that, okay, only a lawyer can handle it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I feel like it was very easy to go through it. It was a lot, but it feels pretty much like a college course now that I think about it. But yes, I like that it was very thorough, and you will go to every box in every section, and in every section, if there's nuances of depending on your case, you will talk about it. So I feel that gave me a lot of reassurance, and a lot of things that I thought I would have questions on, through the videos you will answer them. So that was something that I liked a lot. Like by the moment I got through the end of looking at each section, I realized, a lot of the questions and concerns I have and things I wasn't sure about, she answers them here, because you will say in your videos, oh, you fill this up except if you blah, and then you explain nuances and why not. And if there were things, very small things really, that I really didn't get answered through on the module, I would just hop on the call and ask you. So that was what I like. It was really good, very put together, very thorough, and it was also, in case I don't get an answer, you're very readily available for us in case we have any concerns or questions.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so then did you experience any challenges when putting everything together, or was everything you needed inside the program?
I feel like everything was inside the program. Just mostly the questions I had for you, I remember at the time, they were mostly about like the household income, just because it's not just Alex and I, also like my mom and my dad at the time lived here. So there were like very particular questions I had about, well, what's the household income for Alex? But because they don't ask about in-laws, they just ask about your spouse or parents. But they also ask for my case. So those different parts of, okay, how do I answer this part because of our particular situation? That's where I like it was. I wouldn't say it was exactly a challenge, but it was like mostly the parts where I wasn't very sure about, that I remember asking you about, and you spent quite a bit of time you took your time to answer me for my particular situation and gave me exactly what I was supposed to be putting in those sections for my case.
Wow, wow. All right, let's get into your timeline. Let's go over
Mm-hmm.
the timeline. So, do you remember when you first enrolled into the program?
Yes, it was in February of this year, so February 2024, around
Okay.
the 15th of February, something around that time.
Okay, and I remember you got into it and you got into it. Like you took it
Yes,
seriously.
I was ready to get started with that.
Yeah, you were like, I'm doing it, and it gets done.
Mhm.
So, how quickly were you able to start and make progress on your application after joining?
So I believe I started that same night when I gained access to the method and to the platform with the resources. I get started. First, I took a look at it to familiarize myself with the forms and what needed to be filled out, and also what things I needed to collect, because that took time too as well. Besides filling out the forms, collecting the information and documents you need from other people. If in case, in my case, I got affidavits of support, so like getting the people, picking them up, driving them to a notary, doing all those things. So I got started right away, and I made a list. Okay, what information documents do I need? And I started updating, for example, Alex's driver's license. He hasn't updated his address, and it was a good piece of evidence to have a driver's license with the same address. So we got his appointment at the DMV. Like we did all these different things. Um, so yeah, I got started right away, mostly with filling out the first form. I believe it's the I-130, and I got started filling that out, but also got a list of, okay, this is all the documents and things I need that I don't have on hand right now. And yeah, pretty much right away. The first day I got access, I started working through it.
Do you remember how long it took you to put your entire application together?
It took me 2 weeks. It was mostly, uh, and it was mostly because I was waiting on other documents and people like things that I was waiting on other people's signatures and different things that I was putting together.
Yeah.
Filling out the forms and things like that. Maybe it took me a week. I will dedicate one full day after work to make to fill out the forms. So like I will take one day for each form. I believe there was only one form that took me like 2 days, maybe the 485 or the F.
Or yeah,
Mm-hmm.
David
Yeah.
support.
So
Yeah.
I will dedicate one day, like one evening after work. It was my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5
Yeah.
to just do one form completely and then another day do the other one. So filling out the forms, maybe 5, 6 days, 2 weeks for putting everything together, package copies, passport photos, all that.
And the medical exam. Yeah.
Exactly.
How confident were you about the application you had prepared?
I was very confident. I feel like because I saw all the resources you guys had shared, and also I see a lot of the success testimonies you guys share, and also through the Facebook group, I saw other people that will share these stories in the past. So I feel very confident because I knew I was doing it with people and filling it out in a way that people have done it before me have succeeded through it. So I feel very good about it. It's like I put it the best way I could, the most understandable for the immigration officer, the way that I felt it will look better. So yes, I feel very confident, particularly because I was 100% sure of everything I put in. There was nothing I sent that I'm not really sure about that answer. I hope it worked. I was sure of everything because either I knew I was sure or I asked you and you clarified for me. So that's what made me very confident about the package I was sending.
Wow. And no RFPs, no nothing.
No RFPs. I was completely surprised because I thought maybe I might get an RFP for, I don't know, um, the affidavit of support. A lot of people do, even though they have more than their required income. So I already had in mind, okay, who am I going to ask to be my co-sponsor just in case they send an RFP? And we were surprised that we didn't get any RFP. So that was really good to know.
That was amazing. Okay. And I remember you got a combo card. Do you remember how long it took you to get it?
Yeah, so I sent my application on March 5th because I was trying to beat the price increases.
Please. Yeah.
So I sent the application on March 5th, and by May, I got my combo card, so the travel and the work permit approval. So about 2 months after, I got the approval and then the card through mail.
Mm-hmm. So in May of 2024, you got the
May 2024. Mm-hmm.
yes. And then how long after that did you get your green card approval? Because the interview was also waived.
Yeah, so because the interview was waived, my biometrics were also waived because I had already an
Oh,
immigration process prior. So everything was waived for me, thankfully. So on July 4th, I got an update about my I-130 and subsequently I-485 being approved. So maybe from May to a month and a half later, I got it approved. So I didn't even get to use my work travel permit or work permit. I got the green card right away.
I know. Can you believe
Mhm.
that?
Yeah.
So how long did it take altogether from start to finish to get the green card?
So I enrolled in the method on February of 2024, sent the package on March 2024, and got the green card on July 2024. So maybe from February, from the moment I enrolled and started put the package together, all the way until July when I received the green card, 5 months
Wow.
maybe. And for the moment I sent the package, it was 4 months really. Like the exact amount of time, it was 4 months. From the moment immigration got my package to the moment I got my green card in my hands were 4 months.
Wow. And it's after years of,
Mm-hmm.
being stuck in asylum process because that takes
Exactly. Yes.
just forever. And then also being on TPS and now finally being completely done with this whole deal.
Yes.
So would you say that it positively impacted your sense of security and stability in the US? But I just know how big of a deal it is, but
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if for you it also felt like a huge relief to just be done with this.
Exactly, yes, definitely, because you never know what's going to happen with asylum and also with TPS. It's a very, and those as a TPS at least doesn't have a path to green card or anything permanent, and asylum, because it's pending, is depending on what happens on the interview. So yes, it's very relieving, and also because it's permanent for me, and also it's a way to provide a permanent solution for my mom, for example, whenever I'm able to make a petition for her. So yeah, it was very relieving and took definitely a weight off my shoulders, knowing that I have this paper that says, okay, yes, you can be here permanently. You're not an alien anymore, which I was an alien for 7 years.
Yeah.
And that was so funny to me being an alien non-resident for everything that I felt. I'm not an alien non-resident anymore. I'm actual green card person permanent.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of this whole process. Was it you mostly, or 90% or 95% who handled it, or did Alex help out a little bit?
He helped me mostly with the putting together the documents and evidence and like getting the affidavits of support from friends and family. He helped me a lot with that, and I was just the one filling out the forms. It was me, and then he helped me a lot with finding the documents that we needed that maybe we didn't have at home.
Yeah, did you guys like it that you got to work on this together as a couple?
Yeah, it was really fun, and particularly because I really like working with this. Because I work as an with immigration attorneys a while ago, so I like it. I like this area, and I like doing and filling it up and playing lawyer for 2 weeks was really fun. And he got to help me to like maybe these documents, and we needed put together people to fill out affidavits of support, and he did that for me, and it was really nice and fun to do that.
Are you planning on going to law school?
Yes, I would like to. I hope to be able to at some point.
That's
Now
the
that I have a green card, hopefully.
that's amazing. Because have you done your bachelor's yet?
Yes.
You did. So you can definitely go to law school like
Yeah.
right
Yeah. I just
right
need to
away.
gain a little bit of experience in that field. So like, I don't know, maybe volunteering or something,
Yeah.
to build up my resume and things like that.
Wow. Okay. So sounds like you felt fully supported throughout this process, but tell me, what did you think about the private community? Like, did you find that to be helpful?
Yes, very, because mostly, for example, in the case of Venezuelans, when I was the part where my birth certificate, Venezuelan's birth certificate is very particularly looking, as opposed to, for example, Alex's birth certificate, which is a Puerto Rican American birth certificate. It's very clear, very concise. Venezuelan birth certificate's a little bit complicated, so I was very concerned about how am I going to translate this
Yeah.
in a way that the immigration officer understands. So I got a lot of support from other Venezuelans in the chat of how they did it in the past, and that gave me a lot of reassurance of, okay, this is how I can do it. Other people have done it this way. And also, I will look a lot through people when they share that they received their green card, and I will see their timelines, and or whenever people got RFEs, I will take a look at how they handled it and what their RFEs was. So it's very reassuring to see a lot of people what they were doing, and and sharing their timelines and did access and also the RFEs they will receive, or maybe other things. So yes, I really like being able to be part of the group and take a look at what were other people doing and how long it was taking them as opposed to me. So yes, I liked it a lot.
Wow. Did somebody share with you the copy of their translation, or how did that?
They didn't share it with me. They just told me sort of how they did it, how they built it, and it ended up because their green card got approved as well, a little bit before mine. So I realized, oh, maybe they did it the right way. I didn't get an RFE for incorrectly, translated birth certificate or something like that.
Okay, that's perfect. And then what did you think about the support calls? Did you find those to be helpful?
Yes, very, because on the support calls, I will ask questions particularly about my case, in my case of the affidavit of the A64, which is the one I feel like it was more complicated because you have to read very well about who they're asking. Sometimes they will be asking for information about Alex, and Alex will have to answer through his perspective, and sometimes they will ask about me. So it was very nuanced. So in there, I got mostly the help from you of okay, how to answer this part, like the household size. Well, my household size is different from Alex's because my parents live with me, but Alex no. So that was the part where I got a lot of help from you and reassurance of how to fill it up. I feel like I joined the Zoom calls maybe twice,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it was very reassuring about more specific things in my case that I didn't know necessarily how to answer on the form.
Did you have a problem that it was a group call?
Not very, because even though it's a group call, people, there's not gonna be 10, there wasn't 10, 20 people there listening to your things. Mostly, at most there were two other people, one other people. So it didn't really feel like I was waiting or a lot of people were gonna listen to what I was asking about. So it felt very individual, really. So no, there was no issues with being a group call, really.
And did you feel like the people who were joining at the same time as you, they were at the exact same place as you were, meaning they basically had similar questions, just
Mhm.
it's like a pot of people going through the process at the same time?
Yes, exactly. Like I will see, I know there's some people in the group that submitted around the same time I did. So whenever they will put an update, I will look at it and like compare, like, oh, they're at the same place, like they got their biometrics waived the same way I did. So things like that.
Did you have a problem at all that it was a group approach? I really want to kind of like ask your perspective on it, because obviously the community itself, it's the group. People are seeing what you're asking. Same with the Zoom calls. What is your take on that?
I don't feel I had any issues at all. If anything, I really liked the community part of it because other people were sharing their stories, and a lot of times I will get answers for things through the group. Like people would sometimes, one person was telling their story about how they used the travel permit to exit and come back, and I was like, I'm curious how that is, and I read their testimony and how it went for them. So not at all. If anything, it was really helpful because not only did I get the help from the attorneys, but also I get the stories and the experiences from other people that are doing it the same, using the same resources as I have. So not at all. If anything, was like a selling point because I'm able to relate to other people. I was able to reach out to one of the people in the group about the particularity of the birth certificates for Venezuelans. So it was a really good thing to have because it changes a lot your process depending on which country you're from, how do you enter for the first time, and also where are you submitting your application from. So there was other people that were submitting from Orlando, so I was looking at their updates as well. So that was really helpful.
People in Orlando, you guys, you're getting through in no time. Usually it's so
That's really good.
long. Yeah.
That's what you told me at the beginning, and I was fully expecting it to be a year. I was completely okay. In a year from now, it's when I'm gonna start to worry and I start reaching out to congressmen and all those different things that you do. So, and because I was expecting, yeah, well, Orlando takes a while, so it's gonna be a year. So it was a really good surprise to know it's for some reason I applied at a moment when it was the offices are going through it really fast, and went through in 4 months.
It was the best because we do actually have a few Venezuelans in Orlando who also had a prior asylum case, and
Hmm.
you guys all got through in less than 6 months. I'm like, I love this. It usually never happens. So you guys
Yeah.
really you did get through in no time. Is there anything you would change if it was you running this? Is there
Hmm.
anything you would do differently to support clients like you?
Honestly, Margarita, I wouldn't. There's nothing I said, oh, this could be better, or not at all, because whenever I had a question or something, I know I could wait until the next time that you had a Zoom calls, which you do weekly, or also I can ask on the Facebook group and you will answer that same day, if not the day after. So those were the main concerns for me whenever I was thinking of building this case of, okay, what if I have a question, who's gonna help me? And you guys were very responsible and like readily available for us, either through the calls every week or your responses on the Facebook group. So there's nothing I will say could be different because the way I did it, it cost me to have it in 4 months approved with no RFP. So I don't think there's anything I will change because it went the best way it could have gone, my
Yeah.
process and my application and the approval later on.
Yeah. So you're just happy to be done. That's all that matters.
Exactly. Hmm. And I'm relieved because I know that what comes later down the line with the removal conditions and naturalization and me requesting my parents, I know I have the resources from you guys and I know I have a way to reach you out and I know it's all set. Just just for me to wait the time that I'm eligible to do it and just do it the same way.
Just do it. Yeah, exactly. Just follow the
Hmm.
instructions and just get it done. Yeah, and reach out
Hmm.
if you have any questions. That's awesome. So how do you feel about the fact that you did this alone without hiring a lawyer? Do you feel proud?
Very, yes. It was very reassuring, particularly just because I wanted some point in the future to be an attorney, so it really helped me like let me know, oh, maybe I can go through 3 years of law school. Maybe the bar is not so bad. I don't,
You can do it. You can
I
do
can
it.
do it all. I did my own green card process. I can do everything else. So it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot with my confidence and like to know, oh, I did this in 2 weeks and it went great. So yeah, it feels really good to be able to say that.
So you guys are fairly young. You're just in the
Mhm.
beginning of your journey. So I have to ask you, when you shared that this is the way you're going to be handling your green card with your family members and with maybe Alex's family members, did they feel weirded out by it? Because sometimes people are like, so you're paying somebody who you connected with on the internet to handle your green card, but you're doing it yourself. Like, did it ever come up in your guys' family?
Well, particularly just because I shared how this process was going to be handled, mostly just with my mom.
Uh,
And yeah, and she was, uh, I explained to her how the process was, and she liked it really. She said, "Oh, that sounds really nice." And I said, "Yeah, and I can reach her out anytime, and I fill it out." And she has these videos where she goes through every single line and tells you how to fill it out. And she really liked it. She said, "Oh, that sounds good." Like she didn't really feel any weird about it or at all. I don't know, maybe because she hasn't gone through something like this, like through an extensive immigration process with an attorney. So it's not like something she's used to. So, but no, I didn't get any like people telling me, "Oh, are you sure?" No, thankfully not.
okay, one last question.
Mhm.
What would you say to someone who is trying to decide between hiring a lawyer, maybe doing it entirely by themselves, or actually going through our program?
I would say it maybe because it depends of how the person is, how they like for the things to be handled. I know there's people that they really don't want to worry themselves about what is being filled out. They just want to send their information to somebody and have them fill it up. So maybe for them, an attorney is a good alternative because they just send it and then they will send it out their forms and fill out their forms however they see fit, and that's what works for them. For me particularly, if somebody likes to be hands-on, they like to know what's being filled out, they like to know what's being sent on their behalf. A process like this is more, it fits more for me, for my personality, for the way I like to handle things, because I'm able to know exactly what's being filled out. If I have questions, I have an attorney tell me if it's right or wrong. And I know what I'm sending. I know when I'm sending it. I have the package in my hands, and it's very reassuring. It relieves a lot of the nerves. I feel like when people do it through attorneys, they don't know when the attorney is going to send it, whenever the attorney has the time to send it. So it's very reassuring to know, okay, I have it in my hands and I put it in the hands of the USPS worker. I like I know it's on the way. And
Yeah.
those things help you a lot with, okay, and then they received it. And you know exactly what they have in their hands because in my hands I have a copy of what I sent to them. So if somebody likes to handle their own things and be very involved with everything related to their immigration process or anything else in their life, something like this, like this marriage method, helps a lot with people with my personality that like to be very hands-on
Yeah.
with the immigration process.
Wow, this was awesome. I'm so glad we did it. Thank you so,
Yeah,
so much for taking your time to have this conversation with me. I really enjoyed it, and I'm so, so happy, and I feel so privileged that you're a part of what we do. Thank you so much,
of
Grace.
course, yes. Thanks to you. Thanks to you. Appreciate it. And if you ever have free volunteering time that you need, see somebody help you fill out forms, let me know so I can put something in my resume for when I apply to law school because I
Yay!
really like doing it. It was so much fun.
Oh, this is amazing. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the community, okay?
Okay, see you.
Wow, what an amazing experience. And for anyone who hasn't heard about the marriage immigration method yet, it is a step-by-step coaching program designed for ambitious couples on how to go from lost and unable to find the right solution to getting through their entire immigration process on the first try without making any time delaying mistakes. If this interview resonated with you and you want this transformation for yourself, you can apply to our program by following the links below. We've also included a few free helpful resources in case you're in the very beginning of this journey. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.